Really, I quite like the area. I wanted to stay near to where I was living, and I wanted a new build so that I didn't have any of the hassle of doing an old house up. Just wanted to move straight in and start living. The area really suits me well. I work in Pennycook, which is 5 minutes away, but really my social life's in Edinburgh, so it's perfect. It's halfway between both for me. It's very handy for the bypass, so I'm really quick to work, but it's also easy for me to go and visit family who live in Falkirk, so it's a perfect location for me. I bought a Douglas, which is a detached house with an integral garage. I'd actually seen one that was about 9 years old, which is a house that I actually really wanted to buy but missed out. So it was a layout that I particularly liked and I really wanted to try and get one. I suppose the thing that really drew me to it was the hallway, which sounds a bit weird, but it's very spacious, it's very bright, and it doesn't detract from the rest of the layout of the house. You still have good generous sized rooms, and although it's an integral garage, to be honest, it really does feel like it doesn't take any space away from the rest of the house. I've got a dog. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to go for a detached house, but it works really well because our living room's actually at the back of the house, straight to the garden with patio doors. The dog's in and out all the time, and it just makes life really very easy. For me, a new build is a no-brainer. I really didn't want to have to do any DIY or redo kitchens or anything like that. So being able to move into a house with a brand new kitchen, new bathrooms, nothing to do is just bliss, really. I think the other thing as well is, we're all thinking about our bills and energy costs, etc. And a new build is going to be as good insulation as you're going to get. I've found since I've been here, to be quite honest, it's warmer than I expected. The heating only drops 1 degree overnight when the heating's off. And it's just really comfortable. I think perhaps because there's no drafts at all, it feels warm all the time. Quite simply, it was a breeze. I spotted the house on the internet. I went into the office the next day and reserved it. No problem at all. That was when I first met Nicole. She made it very simple, explained everything right at the get-go. There were incentives on offer, which she went through. All a huge bonus, really, at the time. And from reserving the house to actually getting the house, it was only a few months. Particularly Nicole was one step ahead the whole time, even to the point when I was supposed to get my keys for the house. I think it should have been midday, but at 10 o'clock she phoned me and said, "You can have them now." I really never had any doubts along the way. So for me, it was a very simple buying experience. I found everyone really helpful, more than I expected, to be quite frank. Really, obviously, from the get-go with Nicole, she was my first point of contact, and as I said before, she kept me informed the whole time. The site manager, Alan, was again very, very helpful, from showing me the house before I had my walkthrough, but also because there was a few things with the house that I wasn't really expecting, which Alan had arranged. I ended up with a slightly larger drive than I was expecting. There was one or two things in the house that they changed for me that, again, I wasn't expecting, but they were all huge positives, really. This made the whole experience that much sweeter. I think as well, what probably has made it quite easy for me is there's been a very active after-sales team as well. So Gemma has been brilliant. I'm a bit of a klutz with things like thermostat, so she set them all up for me when I had my walkthrough with her. She's been back several times to see if everything was okay. Getting me on the move, second to none, really, with the whole organisation, all the legal aspects. But what made it particularly easy for me was the fact that all my appliances in the kitchen, for example, were included, and they're all very good quality. The other thing that they did as a bit of an incentive was to include flooring, which meant that I ended up upgrading and having luxury vinyl throughout the ground floor, and I have nice carpeting upstairs. Again, it's not something I had to think about cost-wise. I did also benefit from the 5% deposit contribution, which has allowed me to furnish my house again without building up any extra finance or anything like that. So it's made it a lot more affordable, but it's also perhaps gilded the lily to a certain extent. It's just made it very nice and easy, and I've got the house that I really want right from the get-go. It's a very nice experience. I think perhaps one of the things that when you move into a new development is that everybody's moving in at the same time, so you're getting to know each other at the same time all together, which is very different from moving to an older property where everybody's already there and you're the new one. Everyone's new together, so it's kind of a nicer experience. There's been quite a lot of chat on the doorsteps, silly things like who you going with for your broadband, and we're giving each other information, so it's a nice way to perhaps break the ice and get to know each other. They've been brilliant, actually. I do feel well looked after. I'm right next to the site office, or the sales office I should say, so I know I can pop in there and see Nicole. Nicole's popped round a few times, just check everything's okay. The site manager's been round a couple of times checking everything's been okay, and I've had Gemma from after sales as well. There's really nothing I could fault. I have to say it's a very good experience that I've had here, and I feel like the team are there to help. I think if anyone else was considering buying a Taylor Wimpey, I would say do it. It's really been the best thing for me. I've bought quite a few houses. I'm no spring chicken. Old houses, new houses, and this is the best experience I've had. If anyone's thinking about buying a house with Taylor Wimpey, I would say do it. It's been an absolute no-brainer for me.